Hello, welcome to my channel. I've lost 180 pounds with keto, carnivore, and counting calories. Thank you for watching. I think that's a good place for that magnet. I'll be standing over here doing all my cooking and I'll look up and I'll think of Jesus. It's a good place. Hey, something we know about me is if I can freeze it, I'm going to do it. And there's something I want to know if we can freeze. I want to know if we can freeze sliced apples. I got apple, it was in that frozen fruit, and I'd like to know if we can freeze it. And you know what else I want to see if we can freeze? Hang on. Right now my refrigerator is so full it's obscene. And I am going to try to freeze some of these things to see how they work. So one of the things I want to try to freeze is carrots. That I can just put in a Ziploc bag. So you may already know this answer, and let me know if you freeze all these things. But you may already freeze these things and be like, girl, I've been freezing those for 20 years. Well, I don't remember my mom ever freezing carrots, though she did freeze peppers and onions. And I have frozen almost everything I have, you know me, I like to freeze things. Because I don't like my produce going to waste. So we're going to try to freeze carrots. We'll label it all when we're done. So let me just go on. I'll set these aside. We're going to try that. We're going to try to freeze some fruit. I know I've bought melon. All these things you can buy. This is the one that you can buy I bought a frozen one of it. So it's a pineapple, a honeydew, a cantaloupe. There's even an apple in there, so surely I can freeze an apple. So, okay. Oh, and a grape. I think you can freeze grapes. I think people do that in their wine. So we're going to freeze this. Yep, wrong lid. Just got to know. I got to know because y'all know me. Now I'm going to cut up this apple and I'm going to put it in here in just a second. Okay, so now I'm going to put an apple in here. And we're going to just try to freeze it. Because I don't like food going bad. So, alright, freeze. Alright, what about avocado? Do y'all freeze your avocado? I got to do something because I know I won't eat these in time. So, I'm going to see about... I'm going to see about cutting these up. Or freezing them. Here I am once again. I don't have a glove on. These things are gross. That's why my mama said to use a spoon. She's no dummy. Okay. Now. Ooh, and I know what I can do. Hold on. This is that lemon, the little sprayer I got from Walmart. And it's got some lemon juice in it. So I'm going to go, give it a couple sprays. And I'll give it another spray. Alright. So, I'm going to go on and spray the apple. I'm going to shake it up. And then give it another spray. Alright. I'm not going to spray those. Alright, I'm going to label these things. And just a second. Okay, I've got the tape labeled. I'm about to the end of this. I've got another thing of tape in my drawer, a different one. But all right, so I've labeled apple, avocado, carrots, and melon. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pop these in my freezer, and I'm going to set an alarm on my phone for what's today? Well, if I have it in the freezer, no, I want to let it go a few days. I'm gonna set an alarm on my phone for Wednesday. And Wednesday evening, I'll have an alarm go off on my phone and we can try them out and see what we think. Okay, alarm is set on my phone for Wednesday at like 4:50ish. So I'll be home by then and we will see what we think. Okay, next thing, whatever it is. Another thing I feel like kind of goes bad pretty fast is mushrooms. So we are going to put these in a Ziploc bag and we're going to freeze these also. I'll do a little at a time. It seems like for mushrooms, when they're super fresh, when I get them, they're drier. But then the longer I have them, the more wetter, the more moisture they get. So since they're really super fresh, they're just a couple days old, I am going to go ahead and put them in this Ziploc bag. And I'm going to write mushrooms. And I'm going to say fresh. So that way I know they were fresh mushrooms and not frozen mushrooms. So that's one more thing out of my refrigerator. What I'm doing is I'm processing all the meal prep that I did this weekend. I had more in here and I'm kind of rearranging and shifting. I've got 3 bags of cucumbers in there. So it's like I'm trying to find a home for all this stuff so it doesn't go to waste because, we can't have that. So I know in the past I have cut up cucumbers, but I also know they stay good in vinegar. So I might process those tomorrow. Like just process through what to do with them tomorrow. These meat chips, I have no plans of eating them very soon, but I'm going to make some more because I have these lunch meats and I don't want them to go to waste. So I'm going to finish cooking these up tomorrow. I'm off all day. So I'm going to make these, the rest of these tomorrow. And then when they're done, I'll put them in my freezer just for a place to keep them. So anyway, like I'm trying to figure that out. And I'm not going to freeze them, but these are the chaffles that I made this weekend. I have different ones that I made. I made the rutabaga jicama and then the pickle, mushroom, and onion one. So I'm just trying to process through what I'm going to take to work with me and all that stuff. So that's why I'm looking at what I can freeze and what I can, pull out. Because typically what I do is, let me just get some space here. Usually what I do is I have my days of food up here. So like this is T-bone and looks like ground beef. Then this is what? Ground beef and these are some of the pork steak with the marsala that I made last weekend. What are these? This is a steak T-bone and pulled pork. So that's one day's worth of food. This is chicken that I pulled out. That looks like ground beef and pork steak maybe. No, hang on, let me see. This looks like it had been frozen. I'm putting this back in the freezer to maybe. I can sit right there for the time being. Yeah, that's full too, but that's why I have 2 chest freezers. Listen, a hoarder has to do what a hoarder has to do. Okay, so now I have my 4 days worth of food for my rotation. So that makes me feel good. That's my main meals. And let's see. I will have to spread out the chaffles. I use egg whites in with them, so I'm not concerned about how, I'm not concerned with them being like super high bad. But anyway, so I'll spread that out throughout the week. And then, so that could be a side. Then this is all my salad fixings down there, and there's some pickles down there. Cucumbers are back there. The pickled cucumbers and peppers. What I could do is put this out in something else and cut up the cucumbers that I have. Then that way, because I just felt that like I needed all them cucumbers. So this way, if I put these in something else, and I added those into here, then cucumbers won't go bad because they'll stay in there for a month. I've used to make pickled cucumbers and they'd last a whole month. So I think I'll do that. Hang on. Hey, I think it was Sing It who asked me the difference in harissa and sriracha. Sriracha, let's see what's sriracha. It's jalapenos with vinegar, garlic, and some stuff. Harissa is red chili pepper, red bell pepper, garlic, extra virgin olive oil, cider vinegar, and salt. So this one is jalapeno based, and this one is chili pepper and bell pepper and garlic and olive oil. That's why, for whatever reason, when I taste this screams Italian, and this screams, it screams hot. But anyway, so that's the difference. This is made out of chili peppers and peppers, and this is made out of red jalapeno mash. So that's the difference in the two. Just give me Jesus. Trash this. Need to find a home for this. One of the things I need to process is, I was at Mom's Sunday, which is today, and we had the steak, and she sent me back home with the steak and onions and mushrooms. I'm going to see, 13. Oh, okay. So I'm going to, because there's onion and mushrooms that weigh something in there too. So I'm going to pull those out and cut them up. Hang on. Okay, so I'm going to pull gently so I leave the mushrooms behind and the onions. I don't need those in it. I mean, it's okay, but I just want to cut them out so I can weigh them and not take into account the onions and mushrooms. And then I'll split those up. All right, now let's see how much all that weighs. Zero you out, you, and you. 10 ounces. Huh. Well, all right then. So we're going to split this up into 5 ounce. No, we ain't. We're just going to split it up. We're going to do, because I always do 8 ounces in my meat, or my beef. So I'm going to do 8 ounces. And we'll see what's left. We'll see what 2 ounces is, because that just might be something on its own. I tell you what, I'm glad I didn't steal Mom's steak knives. Mine are definitely better. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Mama Judy. By the way, I just left Mom's house, and I told her, I didn't tell her. My sister. I called my sister because when she comes to town, she always does the cooking. She's got 2 boys, and she's used to cooking like big meals. And so when she comes to town, she just kind of takes over Mom's kitchen. So I called her and I was like, hey, do you use Mom's food processor? And she's like, no. And she's like, I don't think I've ever used her food processor. I said, good. She said, why? I said, because I'm going to take it next time I'm over there. So, all right, that's 8 ounces. So I'm going to put that in with the onions and mushrooms. So then I won't worry about how much that weighs. I'll just put it in. And whenever it melts, it'll all heat up together. So what I'll do is I'll stick this in the freezer, so that'll be a really good surprise one day. When I pull that out, I'll be like, oh my goodness, thank you, Terry of the past. And then this one, I know I just dirtied that up, but I'd like to use a little container so I know that it's not a full serving. All right, zero that out, and let's see. It's probably going to be like, not even 3 ounces. But that's all right. That's all right. So, I'm going to wash this off real quick. Hang on. While the water's heating up, let me tell you the story real quick. I called my sister, and my sister said, no, I don't use Mom's food processor. I said, okay, well, I'm going to go steal it. So I go to Mom's house, and my sister calls my mom, and Mom has her on speaker, and Missy says, so did you steal Mom's food processor yet? I'm like, shut up. So anyway, Mom's like, oh, you can have it. I hate that thing. It's a brand new one, and it's got all these parts, and I don't like it. I said, all right, I'll take it. So anyway, I come home with a new food processor that she's only used a couple times, and I don't even know if she's ever even used it because she didn't like the way it had all the parts and it had too much to do to work. So anyway, so yeah, so I got a food processor and I got that Instant Pot. Cha-ching! Okay, so I'm going to put this steak and I'll just stick it. I'm going to leave it on the top shelf because, I mean, I can eat that with something this week sometime. Then I'll put this in the freezer. Hang on. Look what else I keep in the freezer. This is the hat I got from the thrift store the other day. And I learned that to get bad smells out of yarn and stuff, you put it in the freezer. So this is sitting in my freezer until that, you know, that old clothes smell goes away. Next thing to do to organize my my refrigerator is I'm going to transfer these homemade pickled veggies into these 32-ounce jars, quart jars, I think they are. Hang on. So I'm gonna scoop I'm just scooping the veggies, not the liquid yet. So I'll get these and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm gonna put these lids on them. I'm not gonna add the liquid to them. They have been sitting in that vinegar for a long time. I think it'll work just fine. Ziggy, volume down 3. She's sassing me tonight and just not even listening. She said, I don't want none of your shenanigans today, girl. So now I'm going to cut up these cucumbers and reuse this liquid. Okay, so I'm doing the last set of cucumbers. If you want to know my recipe, I have you can either search Terry Least pickled veggies, or you can look in my routine weekly meal preps. I have made these a few times. So, and I even have to refer back to my own recipe to see how I did it. And I'm gonna have to add a little something to it because it's not covering the pickle. So let me get some more. Hang on. Okay. So what I've always done is I use all the wines, or all the vinegars. That's balsamic vinegar. This is red wine vinegar. Whenever I do like a quart jar, I always did 2 tablespoons of those vinegars. This is rice vinegar. I always did 2 tablespoons of this. And then I did 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar. I hope I have more of this. I better leave it out and make sure. And then I usually do that to about a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. And then, I don't know if it's a 1/4 cup or 1/2 cup, but anyway, of this and the regular vinegar, the regular white distilled vinegar. And then I added some water to it. But you know what I'm going to add today? We're going to add some of this smoked salt. Let me taste this chef's blend. Hang on. See what we think. We're going to add some hickory. because I always add salt. So we're going to add some hickory salt just to give it a fun, smoky flavor. All right, so there we go. Now I'll put the lid on it. And guys, we are cleaning up that refrigerator. We're making room. We're making room. Hold on. Okay, now there's a lot more empty spots. So I put those down on the bottom, and I put the jars of the ones that I just took out, and there's no liquid in there. I put those down there because those will probably be gone in about 4 days, 5 days, on top of my salads that I eat. Whenever I'm done with the meat chips, that'll clear these out. It'll also clear these out. And so moving those things to the freezer a while ago, cutting up the steak and stuff, that has helped a lot. So now we're making better, got more room, and it's more manageable. I'm going to show you the freezer. You all think I'm not a hoarder. Well, I shouldn't say that. I just busted my butt all weekend doing a lot of meal prep. So it's not hoarding, it's my meal prep. So these are my meals. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then there's like a row behind them. So 12 and 12 of meals there. We've got stuff crammed down here. These are those mushrooms that I just put in here. The fruit, where's the fruit? It's on the very bottom. The stuff that I said I wanted to try to freeze on the bottom of that door. That's the things I'm going to try to freeze. Look, oh, there's my hat. Anyway, so that's ice. I can't get to that. That's the steak that I just put in there that I cut up with the onions and mushrooms. So that is my freezer situation. So I shouldn't have to meal prep for 1 week, 2 weeks, at least 2.5 weeks. But you know me, I'll still probably meal prep. Not next weekend. I might do some fun sides or something like that. But anyway, I might play around with chaffles because you know I've got all that shredded rutabaga and shredded jicama, so I can play around with that again next week. And next week, what I can do is count calories and stuff like that in, you know, as I make chaffles. We can play around with calories and how it would fit into the day for me to have them if I chose to have them. So anyway, so that was my weekend meal prep or prep after the prep, post prep. That's what that was, my post prep. I'm looking around to make sure I got everything. Yeah, everything's put out. All this food is put away. So 2 thumbs up.